in the digestive system. The digestive food is then transported in the blood cells in the blood to the cells in the other parts of the body to make use of the energy stored in digestive food. Cells must be able to release energy from the food. The process by which energy is released from glucose or other food molecules in the cells of living things is called cellular respiration. You have learned earlier that fuels burns in oxygen to release energy in the form of heat and light. A similar process takes place in the cells of living things, during which energy is released from glucose, the energy resource of cells. During aerobic cellular respiration, glucose reacts with oxygen in the cells to release gradually and in controlled manner, unlike the burning of fuels. The energy released is used by the cells and tissues to keep alive and function properly. Carbon dioxide and water are the waste product forms. Aerobic cellular respiration is a series of chemical reactions, but the process can be summarized by a word equation below. Glucose plus oxygen equals to carbon dioxide plus water. Plants and animals need a steady supply of oxygen to carry out aerobic cellular respiration in order to release in order to release in order to release in order to release energy from food. How do they get their oxygen supply and get rid of carbon dioxide, the waste product of respiration?
Thank you so much, Elise. Now I'll have a video to show you all. So we'll start with the video that will help you out in distinguishing between respiration and breathing.
About the movement, instructs the respective muscles and helps us perform the task. This is what we know as a voluntary activity. Now tell me, do we need to remind ourselves post some time that we have to inhale and exhale air? Or do we remind our heart to beat and pump blood? No, right? That just happens without our notice. These are the examples of involuntary activities. Involuntary activities are mostly the crucial ones that occur within us and which help us sustain life. Take this activity of breathing, for example. Isn't it extremely important? If we don't breathe, then how will all the cells in our body obtain the necessary oxygen for survival? And how will the toxic carbon dioxide be released out? Also, how will the cells derive energy if the food molecules are not broken down? So overall, respiration is extremely important. Now tell me one thing. Are breathing and respiration the same thing? I'm sure your answer will be yes. But that's not true. Let's understand what exactly the difference between the two is. To begin with, I want you to answer one simple question. How do we get the energy to perform all activities? Most of us will answer from the food we eat, right? Well, that's partially correct. The food we eat is the source of energy, which means that the energy is stored or locked inside the food. In order to unlock or derive the energy from it, the food needs to be broken down. And this requires oxygen. So we can say that the process in which the food is broken down in the cells with the help of oxygen to release energy is called respiration. And how is it different from breathing then? Well, breathing does not involve breakdown of food molecules inside the cells. In fact, breathing is purely the exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide to be precise. So the activity of inhalation and exhalation is breathing, whereas deriving energy from food molecules with the help of oxygen is respiration. Does this mean that breathing is a part of respiration? Absolutely. Breathing is a smaller process which is considered as a part of the larger process of respiration. Let's once again go through the definition of respiration. It's the process in which the food is broken down in the cells with the help of oxygen to release energy. And how do the cells get oxygen? It's due to breathing, right? That's why we say that breathing is a part of respiration. Now, the next important thing we need to understand is the types of respiration. Hold on, isn't it a simple process? How can there be types in this then? Well, respiration is classified in types based on the location where it occurs. There are three types of respiration to be precise: external, internal, and cellular respiration. External respiration is the one which occurs at the nasal level. The oxygen from the surrounding air is brought inside the nasal cavity and the carbon dioxide is given out. This is called external respiration, which involves interaction with the exterior world. In other words, external respiration is sometimes used synonymously with breathing. Next in the list is internal respiration. As the name suggests, the one which occurs internally, or inside the body to be precise. When the oxygen from the air reaches the lungs, it gets transported to the blood. Similarly, carbon dioxide from the blood is given out in the lungs, which travels later to the nasal area. The oxygen then travels throughout the body and is delivered to the cells, and the carbon dioxide is similarly taken away. This exchange of gases that occurs inside the lungs, blood, and the cells is called internal respiration. And last on the list is cellular respiration. Don't we know this? The name says it all. The process in which oxygen is used to break down the food molecules by the cells is called cellular respiration. Many times, internal and cellular respirations are confused with each other. But now the difference is very clear. External respiration is where gaseous exchange occurs at the nasal area. Internal respiration is where gaseous exchange occurs between the lungs, blood, and the cells, while cellular respiration is restricted to the cells only. So, is this seen in all organisms? Do all organisms have this similar system? Well, it's obvious that the mechanisms will vary from habitat to habitat and from organism to organism. So, how are the mechanisms different? Let's find that out in the upcoming video.
Surely this video has helped you out in understanding the difference between respiration and breathing, as well as the different types of respiration that occurs in human body, especially because we'll be studying human breathing and respiratory system. So one more video that I showed you in the last class, that was about mechanism of breathing, the organs involved in our respiratory system, the organs that are responsible for breathing, that was shown in the video in the last class. Okay, so today I'll share my PowerPoint presentation with you, but first of all we'll read a little bit more about breathing from the textbook. Fatma Habib, please unmute yourself, beta. Okay, will you read page number 30, breathing?
Breathing. Oxygen is needed by cells for aerobic cellular respiration, while carbon dioxide and water vapor are given out as products products, while oxygen and carbon dioxide diffuse in and out of plants through the stomata. Human beings have respiratory systems to help us with the exchange of gases between the bodies and the surroundings. We breathe all the time. The oxygen needed for respiration is taken into our bodies. When we breathe in the surrounding air, the waste products of respiration, carbon dioxide, and water are removed from our bodies when we breathe out. Unlike respiration, breathing is a physical process, and animals such as mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians breathe through special organs called lungs. Fish breathe through gills, which while insects breathe through holes in their bodies called spiracles.
When you inhale, breathe in, air enters the trachea windpipe through your nostrils. The trachea divides into two tubes called bronchi, singular bronchus, one to each lung. The bronchi then divide into smaller and smaller tubes called bronchioles, which end at the air sacs alveoli. The alveoli provide a large surface area for the exchange of gases between the blood and the air. Each alveolus is surrounded by many capillaries, tiny blood cells. The very thin walls and large surface area of the alveoli and numerous capillaries surrounding them enable gases to be exchanged quickly and efficiently. Oxygen in the inhaled air diffuses from the alveoli to the blood in the capillaries. The blood can then carries the oxygen to the cells in the other parts of the body. The waste product of respiration, carbon dioxide, diffuses from the blood to the lungs through the capillaries surrounding the alveoli. It leaves the body through the bronchi and trachea. When you exhale, breathe out. Gently feel your ribs as you breathe in and out deeply and slowly. What happened to your ribs when you inhale and exhale?
Thank you so much, Abiha. Thank you. Yusra, please unmute yourself, beta. And read Try It Out. Try It Out on page 31. Okay.
Try. Asthma,
Bronchitis.
bronchitis, bronchitis,
Bronchitis. Yes.
emphysema, and lung
And
cancer are lung cancer and diseases of the respiratory system. Tobacco smoking is directly responsible for many lung cancer. Emphysema and bronchitis cases are tobacco smoke contains many toxic and cancerous substances. With the help of the internet, find out what these diseases are and their effects on the body.
Respiration. In aerobic cellular respiration, glucose reacts with oxygen in cells to release the energy stored in it. The process of aerobic cellular respiration can be summarized in the word equation: glucose plus oxygen is equals to carbon dioxide.
the arrow shows that whenever you people are speaking about a word equation, you should say glucose plus oxygen gives off. Gives
Gives,
off means gives it, or a product formed by, that is, carbon dioxide and water.
gives off carbon dioxide plus water. Breathing in Breathing is a physical process where gases are exchanged between the body and the surrounding with the help of respiratory system. Lungs are specialized organ for breathing. Alveoli in the lungs provide a large surface area for the exchange of gases to take place quickly and efficiently. Inhaled air has a higher concentration of oxygen but lower concentration of carbon dioxide and water vapor than exhaled air. It is typically of a lower temperature than exhaled air.
Okay, so our second chapter is respiration and circulation. Respiration is a process which involves taking in oxygen into the cells, using it for releasing energy by burning food, and then eliminating the waste products like carbon dioxide and water from the body. It is a catabolic process as the food is broken down into simpler form. In short, respiration is a biochemical activity taking place within the protoplasm of the cell and results in the liberation of energy. I have already shown you a video that is related to breathing and respiration. But over here, we'll just pin down few points that will show the difference between breathing and respiration. Mechanism by which organisms obtain oxygen from the air and release carbon dioxide is called a process of breathing. It is a physical process that involves lungs, and it is the external respiration is also called breathing, that involves uh, nasal inhale and exhalation process. Okay, simplest form of breathing is called inhale and exhale process that involves nasal cavity and lungs. Respiration. It includes breathing and oxidation of food in the cells of the organisms to release energy. It is a biochemical process that involves breathing plus energy taken from the cells where the food is oxidized. So, there are two basic types of respiration: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. In first, we'll discuss about aerobic respiration, where oxygen is required. Such organisms are called aerobes. It occurs in mitochondria of the cell. It involves the process of glycolysis, that is breakdown of glucose, where glucose is broken down into pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid is the chemical chemical compound that is formed when glucose is broken down. Then pyruvate. Pyruvic acid is further converted into carbon dioxide and water, and energy is released. Okay, then occurs in all higher organisms. Anaerobic respiration. As the term says, oxygen is not required. Process is called anaerobiosis. It involves the process of glycolysis in the cytoplasm. The process occurs in the cytoplasm. Okay, it is the metabolic pathway that converts glucose into pyruvate. The free energy released in this process is used to form high energy molecules ATP and NADH. Fine. So human respiratory system is chiefly divided into two components. Two components means it is divided into two categories. If you can see the picture, the nasal cavity, oral cavity, pharynx, and trachea comes in the respiratory tract. Okay, and then respiratory organs that includes lungs and diaphragm and ribs. So you may divide it into two, the upper portion and the lower portion. Okay, still some students are coming. Respiratory tract is a passage which allows movement of inspired and expired air in and out of the lungs. It consists of nostrils, nasal chambers, internal air, pharynx, larynx, and trachea. The mechanism of breathing: inspiration, that is flow of air into lungs, and expiration, that is air leaving lungs. Can you see the picture over here? See, it shows the inhalation and exhalation, how the diaphragm contracts and how diaphragm is relaxed. So we'll stop it over here, and inshallah we'll continue in our next class.